Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. I'm in the garage today. It's quite chilly, but there's some things I'd like to do on a new tree that I bought this morning. So let's go. So the tree that I bought is a little Ficus microcarpa. It says Ficus bonsai somewhere, which of course does not exist. But well, yeah, I know it's the typical, how should I say, cookie cutter S-shaped, not nice bonsai, but it's a Ficus microcarpa and I always wanted one, and I want to make this tree a whole lot bigger and take cuttings, and finally, of course, I'd like to make a big fusion project with this tree. But I think that before I do that, I can surely enjoy this tree and make it as cookie cutter as possible. So first looks is it's quite two-dimensional, so probably I'm going to wire a few of these branches, and then because I want to put them inside, I know it's not the best thing to do, but what can you do? I don't have a good spot to put it outside, so the tree would probably die from the cold. So yeah, I'm trying to find a better front than this one or this one. So in my idea, this should become something in the back, because we have two branches here. There's surely one branch that I can cut off, which I will not do, because I want to keep them all to make cuttings, and I want to do that in the spring or in the summer. So I'm going to let grow everything nicely, but still give it a little shape, because, well, I think this side is not that bad. The S shape is not exaggerated. The nice thing is that it could have been like this in the pot, you know, straight and then a straight corner here. That's terrible. Could have been maybe a little more like this. Would be a little more pleasing, I think. So I'm gonna keep that in mind. So maybe put something under here. A little piece of wood might do. Yes, might do. I think this is a little better. It makes the S shape a little less sharp. Then maybe if I continue on the S shape, this could become a leader. And because these trees are quite flexible, I think this is possible. This can become a leader, and then this can take over, and that's possible. So, well, I don't know, maybe I should put this down then. But since I'm probably going to cut it off, well, I don't know. So I'm going to use a few quite small wires, 1 or 2 millimeters, and going to wire this branch a little. This is probably one I can keep, so it's worth doing that. Okay, so I'm going to anchor the wire on this branch here at the back, so that I can give this one a little movement too. Okay, and I'd like to turn this branch a little more, you see, that way. So I need to put the wire this direction. So I have to come from the top here. Like so. Okay. It's a little stupid, I know, but I'm quite happy with this little ugly tree, just because it's my first Ficus microcarpa. You see, we have now, this is not wired, we have these branches that are sticking up, and of course you'd like to have a little more flat pads, and because I wired this way, I can now force the wire and even tighten it a little more, which of course results in keeping all the branches that you have and achieving a flat part. Can do it even a little more, like so. Now just a little wire on this one to open it up. That's an extremely small wire. So since I cannot anchor it, I'm going to take a few twists around the existing branch, like so. And again, same principle. Can give it a little twist, and this is also flat. Now this is quite straight, I don't like that. I'm going to put it a little up and down. This one can stay low, this one I can put up a little and make a slightly more interesting pad, like so. I think this is better. Now I'm going to do exactly the same with this one, but since I want the branches to, well, these are quite well distributed, so I have to make a choice. I can put it that way or I can put it that way. So since this branch starts from the back, it's probably better to use the branches that are here and this one and put it in this way, so the wire will have to come in the other direction. So let me take a piece of wire. It's not a big branch, it shouldn't be complicated, so I set this way because I want it to go that way. Yeah, so I'm just anchoring it here. So I have to come from the lowest part, trying not to crush existing branches. And not to crush any leaves. Like so. So now I can put this a little more flat. Of course these are not in a good spot now. You see they are pointing straight up, but yeah, well, some of this will be removed. Here I have a third little branch, so obviously I don't want that at all tree from the same spot. But like I said, since I want to take cuttings, I'm not going to do anything about that little stump. Okay, so let's have a look. Now these two are in the same plane, so I can put this one a little more down and this one a little more up. It's a slight difference, but I think it works. Okay, so this is a, well, quite complicated thing. When I work on this, I will have to do quite some bending, and maybe I'll do this with raffia, but not now. It's winter, so it's not good. I'm just going to wire this one. It's really not a good branch. It has to go, but for the time being, it's an eye poker, and it's really not nice. So yep. Let me think. Well, these are quite flat, so maybe get this one a little more, but then this becomes straight. Well, there's not a whole lot I can do, so clockwise will do. Okay, So I just wanted a little more out of sight. Yeah. I'm going to try to fill up the space here a little more. So I know it's not really perfect little tree, but it's going to take quite some time. So yeah, I think that's all I can do. Honestly, this tree needs serious pruning. And I mean real serious structural pruning. Most of the branches will have to go. That's all. I can do a few things now to make it look a little nicer while it spends the rest of the winter inside. But it's just for fun, and it's just a nice practice for wiring also. I can do this, I can do this. It makes it a little more attractive. So, okay. Like this. Little movements from here, like so. This here, this there. Well, that's not bad. Probably this whole branch will have to go up until here. And then maybe I'll have something that sprouts here, I don't know. Then this can become the top. This branch will have to go. I'll maybe try to make a little virtual out of this. So I'm going to take a little picture and see what I can do. So the pot is not bad. It's I'll put it a little more in the light. It's kind of blue with a lip, which doesn't make it easy. But the soil is just well, pot ground, you know. And yeah, well, that's gonna be a big problem when I keep this inside, because this was bought in a cold greenhouse. And well, quite humid, so the tree was quite happy there. And it's okay to keep a tree in that kind of soil there, but inside that's going to be a problem. So because I want to put it inside, I took a look at all the pots that I had, and I found this one, which is quite shallow, but I think it's a nice little pot. It has this exotic shape, and of course, it has a little plate to put under it. So I'm going to do a very light repot now on this tree. Just getting it out of the pot, raking out the roots, putting new soil in it, and that's going to be it. Like I said, there's a little lip here. So I'll have to get in with my knife and make the complete turn here with respect of the pot, because it's not a bad pot. I feel a big root here. Okay, probably this will come loose. So this tree definitely does not need a repot, definitely not. But it doesn't mean that you cannot put it in another pot. Just going to have a look at the roots. There's not a whole lot of root here, so I probably can safely get rid of some of this soil. And loosen the roots. It's completely dry, so you see, even in humid greenhouse, this tree is not getting the moisture he needs. So, quite sandy. Now, winter is not the perfect time to do a repot, especially not on a ficus, but it is a little more complicated than that. This tree was, this is just sand. Oh, right. So this tree was in a cold greenhouse, and now it's going to go inside. So this tree is probably gonna think that it is spring, and it will start to grow. So if you think about it like this, it might just be a good moment to do a repot. Okay. Well, that's not bad soil, but it's, well, it's dry, very sandy, and I think I prefer my usual bonsai mix. I'm not going to cut off any roots. Maybe this big one here, just shorten it. So that's it. And I won't cut more than that. So I said that this was the front, that I wanted it a little more up this way. Let's do that. I am going to anchor this tree in the pot. That's something that I usually don't do, but I have the feeling that it's going to be necessary this time. So this is the middle. Okay. Because this pot is absolutely not shallow. Not deep and is shallow, I'm sorry. So, like so. I can only... There's not a whole lot of soil that goes in this, so this will be the bottom layer, which is not much. Now I have to find a good position for the tree in the pot, and then I'll secure the tree as well as I can. Okay, so the position of the tree in the pot. Let me put this down. Okay, so I said that this was the front, and that I wanted it a little more, it was like this, and I wanted it a little more this way, so that looks quite okay. So I'm going to find a good spot to put my wire here. And I'm going to tie this in for now. I think it's a whole lot better when it's a little more slanting. So probably I should get the tree a little more off center to this side, but then yeah, then it doesn't have a whole lot of place for the roots here. And I want to open these roots up as good as I can. So the position of the tree will be a little too much in the center, but yeah, it's the start of something, so we have to be happy with what we can do now. There is a nice root in the back, which I could probably get a little more in the front. I'll show you. It is this root here, so if I can put it there, And I think this is not too difficult. This could add a whole lot to the radial root pattern of the tree. And I see that I have now a whole lot of extra sand here that I should remove. Okay. So the tree is slightly tilting forward, like so. And I don't think it's bad at all. Maybe a little too much forward, so I'll get a little more substrate under this part. Then I have the little roots here that I'm going to try to open up, like so. Just going to reposition my light here. This is a little better. So I think that's it. So I'm going to tie it in this position, just making the wire a little firmer. So yeah, that's good. And I'm going to fill this up with substrate. Okay, well, it's not a whole lot of substrate. I wonder what this root is doing. Where is this coming from? Oh, it's here and it's going under, so that's stupid. Could be a nice radial root. So that's better. And now I'm going to work this in. And I have quite a few gaps under now. So this is of course not a severe root prune and a severe repotting. And yeah, repotting a tree is always stressy for the tree, but I think in this case it's gonna be a good thing, because the substrate was very wet. I made a whole lot of progress on the roots just by sorting them out. This will be a big difference in the future. So I'm going to finish this. The tree is spotted up. Just going to clean off the edges now with my old paintbrush. And the substrate is way too high, so I'm going to brush it off a little so that I can see a part of these quite nice roots, I must say. Okay, maybe a little more off in the back. And I'm going to push down this wire so that you don't see it. So it's in the substrate. Okay, so let's have a look. This is the result of today's work. So of course, because I changed the angle, I should change a little bit of the angle on the branches here. So this comes a little lower than this one. This can be a little more drooping. And this should make a little plane here. This is at exactly the same spot, so I'm going to put this one up a little, and like so, and maybe a little more to the back, like so. And here I did not put any wire at all. So that's the work for today. So that's all. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.